So now that we've calibrated the camera, we can just go to our high-res version and disconnect the front-back shader since it's no longer needed. And the last phase before we actually begin the render mapping process is to create a custom render tree on the high-res model that allows to extract the distance from the high-res model to the camera. So to do that, what we're going to do is use the scalar state node and use the ray length parameter, which basically returns the distance from the surface of the object the shader is connected to and the camera. So exactly what we're looking for. And we need to remap that to an RGB color range. Because what it's going to be computing is a distance from the surface to the camera. At certain points, it's going to be inwards. At other points, it's going to be outwards. So we're going to end up with this kind of negative and positive value range, which we want to remap basically the displacement to an RGB color range 0 to 1, so we can cook that into a texture as grayscale values. So what we want to do is get our change range node. Where is that? Change range, there we go. Plug that in there. So as the input, again, this is kind of a calibrating factor that you have to figure out, but I'm going to use negative 1.4 and 1.4 to kind of capture all the distances possible. And then we want to map that, like I mentioned, to RGB space, so 0 to 1. And that's about it. We can just plug that into the surface, and we should be good to go there. So the last thing we need to do is just go to the render map, and we regenerate our map. And we'll see what result that gives us. So there you can see the render map result, and it's actually fairly good. If we zoom in, ideally to get the greatest dynamic range in the render map, you want your blacks to actually be a 0 value and your brightest areas to be 1. So in this case, you know, it seems a bit bright. The black isn't quite dark enough, and the whites could be a bit whiter, but it does work quite well. But again, you could tune the actual change range area to optimize the render map, so you do capture, you know, all the different gradations of displacement. But this is actually quite good, so you're definitely going to get pretty good results with this. So the last thing we want to do is just reconnect this, rechange the range to a displacement value, and connect to the displacement of our simplified object.